Hi everyone. So this week we are looking at crises and emergency preparedness at schools and universities. A school and a university is going to deal with all sorts of crises that come up. Um, we're responsible for getting the information to the community in a timely manner when something does happen. And we're also responsible for providing those resources to help students, faculty, staff, administration, parents, and the community at large. Often we're dealing with something that happens specifically at that school, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it might be something that happened in the community that is impacting the students or something on a larger basis. So for instance, when I was a high school student, right after the winter break, it was my senior year, and one of my classmates was driving home after school and unfortunately died in a terrible car accident. 2 days later, two of my classmates that were also seniors with me, as that other student had been, were walking down a pretty busy street, and it had been snowing. It was Buffalo after all, and the sidewalks hadn't been cleared. And they were walking with their girlfriends who were a year or two younger than us. And they were hit by a drunk driver and killed. And so within 2 days, my senior class lost 3 of our peers, which was a pretty big hit. Neither had happened on campus, but obviously it had a huge impact. So they brought in counselors and support staff to help everyone on campus to deal with that loss and to bring hope for the 2 students who had survived the car crash and were in the hospital under massive recovery. After some of the bigger school shootings, I know I've been called into schools just to talk about recognizing signs and helping students who are struggling with the idea of what's happening in the world. So it's not always that the crisis happens specifically at that school or university. It might happen in the neighborhood, it might happen in the community, or it just might be something that's relative to that age group. We're going to be dealing with obviously suicides, which we've touched on previously, death, whether it be from an illness or some sort of tragedy, potentially school shootings or school violence, potentially natural disasters. So all of these things can be a part of the response. So we have to think about how, as someone working within the schools or within the community that can go into the schools and help, what kinds of resources might be needed, what kind of work might you be called on to do. So that's what we're going to explore a little bit this week. Okay, talk soon.